First, fast, accurate. You're watching WSBT 22 First in the Morning with Bob Montgomery and Leanne Tokars.
Literally, the entire half of the building is completely demolished and on the floor in pieces and everything, and I have no words to explain really what's going on through my mind.
We continue to follow breaking news this morning. At least one person is dead after a high-rise condo building collapsed near Miami.
Now, what we're looking at here, this is a live look at the response. We can see obviously hundreds of units on the scene. We know rescue crews are right now digging through by hand through the rubble trying to find people. We know 9 have been taken to the hospital. It is unclear how many people were actually inside this building at the time of the collapse. Crews believe there may be more people trapped in that rubble. Again, 80 fire rescue crews right now digging through trying to find any more survivors. This is a live look at some of the efforts happening right now. We see a team just now entering another part of the building, but you can see the footprint of that. It looks like about half, maybe more than half of the building is now gone. The rescue crews stretching back for blocks. We're keeping a very close eye on what's happening at the scene, and we'll bring you all the new details as they become available.
This weekend, we will be talking rain and rain and rain, and that really will start and get going later on today. However, it's not close enough to give us an impact for this morning. So these are some of the showers and storms. They've rolled through Omaha, Nebraska. They are now out into Iowa and right along the Iowa and Missouri border. So that is still a good distance from us. So when I zoom in just over our area, it's really quiet. Enjoy this, because there will be very few times over the next 4 or 5 days where we show the radar and there's no activity on it. So this is going to be a pretty quiet morning. If you want to take a leisurely stroll without the worry of when the next chance of rain will be, you can do that, because really all the way through lunchtime, we still have no chances of rain through noon today. We're in the 60s now. We'll be around 78 at noon. Once we get into the afternoon, especially after 4 o'clock, that's when we really start to see those showers get close enough that we're starting to see impacts around Chicago area and then into this evening. But until then, we have this quiet stretch. We have 64 in South Bend and in Rochester, 64 in Elkhart, 65 along the lake shore in Benton Harbor. If you're in Lakeville, 63, 61 in LaPorte and LaGrange County. We have a few upper 50s, low 60s, LaGrange coming in at 59. Nice and quiet. Now, if you look at Futurecast, you see how those storms leave Iowa and then move into Illinois. They hit Chicago around 4 or 5 o'clock, and then we should see some rumbles of thunder and some showers and a few thunderstorms as we head into this evening. So we're going to time this out. We're going to talk about a risk for severe weather as these showers roll through the weekend, and I'll show you that in just a few minutes.
Carrie, thanks very much. We're now hearing from an ex-Concord High School teacher as one of his former colleagues faces serious allegations in Elkhart County. Andrew Cowles now facing 18 criminal charges, including possession of child pornography and voyeurism. John Cole started working at the high school in 2007 and was friends with Cowles. Cowles was a longtime sponsor for the chess team, which Cole coached. Cole says Cowles was popular with the high schoolers. Cowles had a casual relationship, according to Cole, with the students, and Cole says no interactions ever hit him as inappropriate.
If you told me the charges were him using curse words in front of children, it wouldn't shock me at all, because he had that sort of very casual, button-down relationship with his kids, but there was nothing in his interaction with the kids that struck me as inappropriate or even slightly off. 3
other teachers were put on leave a week after Cole's.
No arrests yet in the mass shooting at Heritage Square in Mishawaka early Sunday morning. Investigators now say up to 500 people were in the parking lots at the time when at least 80 shots were fired. 1 person was killed, 4 others wounded. It was all connected to a Juneteenth summer bash held at Heavenly Goat. WSBT 22 has learned so far only 20 witnesses have spoken with investigators. Investigators also found high-velocity rifle rounds at the scene. They say with that kind of ammo being fired, it's a miracle more people weren't killed. The County Metro Homicide Unit commander says they're working hard to process a lot of evidence, but they hope more people cooperate with the investigation. Mishawaka police are also addressing concerns surrounding the Juneteenth event where that shooting happened. Investigators said 2 promoters from ELKHART contracted with the Heavenly Goat for the event. Mishawaka police have a copy of that contract, which said law enforcement security was required. However, they say law enforcement was not hired. Indiana State Police have joined the investigation.
6:35 now, and happening today, one of the men found guilty in the torture and murder of a woman in Elkhart will be sentenced. We're talking about Mario Angulo Jr. He was convicted in the death of Kimberly Dyer in 2019. Another man, Donald Owen Jr., was sentenced to life in prison earlier this month. A third man, the one you see on the right, Matthew Brzezinski, sentenced to 60 years for his role.
You're taking a live look now in Minneapolis this morning. We're happening tomorrow. The former police officer convicted of murdering George Floyd will be sentenced. Earlier this year, Derek Chauvin was found guilty on all counts. He faces up to 40 years in prison. The 3 other former Minneapolis police officers charged in Floyd's death will go to trial in March of next year.
Horrible story out of Florida where police are investigating the mother of 2 young girls found dead in a canal. Neighbors found the girls ages 7 and 9 earlier this week. They were last seen with their mother Monday near the canal. She's in custody as a person of interest. No formal charges filed just yet. Police say the mother never filed a missing persons report for the daughters. They're also investigating reports that this mother may have been offering to baptize people.
The ACLU is filing a lawsuit against Michigan State Police over claims of racial profiling. An ACLU attorney says the agency's data shows troopers pull over black drivers more often than white drivers. In the federal lawsuit, a black couple says back in 2019, a trooper pulled them over and then searched their car for 2 hours. The couple claims this was without cause. They say police falsely accused them of running a red light, then asked if there were drugs in the car and brought in a police dog. Troopers didn't find anything in the car and let the couple go. The ACLU says it has urged MSP for years to hire someone to review their practices. In a statement, the director of the MSP says it has been responsive and hired professional researchers to analyze their traffic data.
Time right now, 6:37. The CDC is investigating after a teenager died after receiving a coronavirus vaccine shot. This was in Saginaw. Investigators say the 13-year-old died 3 days after receiving his second dose. At this point, it's not known whether there's any correlation between the teen's death and the vaccination.
Come take a look at this incredible damage video. 5 people are hurt after this bridge collapsed in Washington, D.C. Look at this. Investigators say at this time it appears a crash involving multiple vehicles was responsible. City officials say the bridge was last inspected in February and there were no structural concerns. All of the people hurt in the collapse are expected to recover.
Time right now, 6:38. New executive action from the White House helping to curb the national wave of violent crime. Hear from the president on why responsible gun owners do not need to be worried. That's coming in our next half hour.
And using more than music to care for patients. Hear from a local nursing assistant with a song in his heart in 10 minutes.
And this morning we have sun now, but we're tracking rain by tonight and then rain all weekend. We're going to sort out those details, talk about the risk of strong storms. That's next.
Keeping you safe on the roads. This is the Morning Drive Report, sponsored by Zolman's Tire and Auto Care. Be safe, buy local, shop local.
It is a quiet start to our day. So if you enjoy kind of the peace and quiet part of the morning hours, we definitely have that. This is a live look over Winona Lake. We're getting some beautiful colors this morning as the sun is rising. We do have a few clouds in and out, but you're going to see sun and clouds today. Similar to this picture, this is a live picture in ELKHART. So you can see some of those layers, different clouds. A little bit of a hazy look from some of the cirrus clouds. We'll see a few cumulus through the course of the day, but obviously we're seeing some blue there. Gorgeous start. Nice and quiet. I want to point out your morning drive all the way through the rest of the morning hours, and really a majority of the afternoon is going to be pretty uneventful. Mix of the sun and clouds, so partly cloudy. It is a warmer start. We're in the 60s this morning. We're going to end up in the 80s this afternoon, so this is the warmest day we've had all week. You will already feel that when you get in your car this morning. And noteworthy here on the morning drive, it is not raining, because tomorrow it will be raining. We're talking rain on Saturday, Sunday, and even into next week. It's likely we will still have chances of rain in the forecast until we get into next Thursday. So this is something that where we have the uneventful weather. It's nice and quiet. We're not tracking those storms just yet, at least not on our view here. When you look at our counties, we just have a few clouds out over Lake Michigan and a few clouds that you will see in and out through the course of the morning. So very uneventful and pretty decent with numbers here. It feels like summer again. We started out the week on a cold note. We're back to feeling a little closer to normal. 60 is normal in the morning. We're very close to that. 62 if you're starting in Goshen, 65 along the lakeshore in Benton Harbor, 60 right now in LaPorte, and we will see these numbers warm up even into the 70s by 10. 74 if you're headed out for a walk or a jog, getting your dogs out. This is a day maybe to spend some extra time outside with some of your pets because it is going to be hard over the next couple of days really getting them out and exercising because of the chances for rain. Look at this, the warmest lunchtime we have had all week. We'll hit 77 by noon, and then we'll keep warming up. We're going to end up in those mid-80s later this afternoon. But here's where changes start to roll in. This is Futurecast. I have this starting at 8 o'clock this morning. This is where showers and storms are now. This is out over Iowa, southern Iowa, and Missouri. So obviously, here's where we're sitting. We're nowhere close to those storms just yet. But over the next couple of hours, we see those showers move from Iowa right to the Illinois line. This is by 1 o'clock. Still, again, nowhere close to us. We may see a few more clouds by lunchtime, early afternoon, but we're still not looking at rain showers at 1. And then as we head into dinner time, there's 4 o'clock. It's still far western suburbs of Chicago, if even that close, by 4 o'clock. Here's 6 o'clock for us. Mostly cloudy skies at this point. This line of showers will move in. And while I know this looks really impressive, especially coming after the weekend where we had severe storms, there is a risk of severe weather. However, the threat is relatively low for us between 6 and 9 o'clock tonight. This is Futurecast, just another, this is a computer model. I'm showing the same exact thing. Different models pick up on different elements of the atmosphere. And so I wanted to show you how this moves in with some showers and storms, but really it relatively shows a good weakening as it moves into our area. Well, what's happening is the risk for big storms, where the atmosphere is really good for big storms developing, is not over us. It's actually out over Missouri and Kansas and Nebraska. So as those storms exit that area, which is where they are now, they will be rolling into air that's not as helpful for keeping those storms together. So our risk isn't none. We still have a risk of strong storms. We're in the lowest category. So the green is the 1 out of 5. So our risk, an isolated gusty wind, is certainly possible. We will be monitoring that pretty closely. I'm mostly concerned about people being outside with thunder and lightning. Now tomorrow's storm setup, because once those storms move in this evening, we're still talking rain and storms tomorrow. We're still at a low risk of severe weather tomorrow, but again, it's not none. We won't be the big focus, but we still will be in that 1. And then on Saturday, if you have outside plans, again, low risk for severe weather. But again, the risk is not going to be none. So gusty winds are still going to be possible in thunderstorms, heavy rain, and I think the biggest threat for the weekend is really going to be the risk for thunder and lightning and people being outside. So that's something to consider for your outside plans over the next couple of days. Today, the sun is still here now. We have that until late afternoon, early evening with the chance of a few showers and storms. 84 today. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms overnight. We drop to 67. And fortunately, we're not talking 40 in rain. We're talking near 80 in rain. 78, 84, and then 80. That takes us through the weekend. But 100% chance of rain tomorrow. And we still get scattered showers in our forecast, although it won't be a total washout early next week. If you have outdoor plans for any time this weekend, I would be seriously considering some backup plans.
Yeah, make those plans now. Carrie, thank you. 6:45 now. You're taking a live look inside the CBS Broadcast Center. Coming up on CBS this morning, the FDA warning some coronavirus vaccines have been linked to a rare heart inflammation. What you need to know about this new alert.
And this is a live look just to the north of Miami Beach, Surfside, where rescue crews are right now digging through the rubble of a collapsed condo high-rise building. This is right on the ocean front. We know at least 1 person is dead, at least 9 others are injured. And again, they're still looking for victims as we speak. Stay with us throughout the morning. We'll continue to follow this developing story.
First to cover breaking news with Bob Montgomery and Leanne Tokars. Your accurate storm alert forecast with meteorologist Carrie Peugeot. You're watching WSBT 22 News first in the morning.
And at 6:49, the breaking news we've been following out of the Miami area. At least 1 person is dead. Rescue efforts are happening right now. This is a collapsed condo high-rise building. On your left is a live look at the scene. Reporter there is preparing to update what's happening for the audience in Miami. But also on the right is video from about an hour ago. This was one of the highlights, the good news pieces this morning, when a 12-year-old boy was found alive and rescued. You see him right there, a firefighter in the process of carrying him away from the scene. There are roughly 80 fire teams now on the scene, digging hand by hand, trying to get to the people who may still be trapped. It's unclear how many people were in this building when it went down about 2 o'clock in the morning. An above look, Leanne, shows that this particular building, the footprint, about half of the building at least is gone. We'll continue to follow this developing story. And Britney Spears is calling for an end to her conservatorship.
It was established 13 years ago after she suffered an apparent mental health crisis in public. That means she is not in charge of her finances or other important decisions. During a highly anticipated court appearance, Spears said the arrangement is doing more harm than good. She called it abusive and condemned her father and others who have run the conservatorship. A decision on Spears' future will be made by a Los Angeles County judge.
Local nursing assistants getting a lot of attention for doing something a little extra for patients. Preston Parker works at St. Joseph Health Systems in Mishawaka. He says with everything he's been through the past year, he looks for opportunities to make the patients smile. One of the ways that's manifested is singing for his patients. Take a listen.
'Cause right now, I know you're able, and my God will come through again. Just know that when you go into that patient's room, you have an opportunity to make a difference, and it's a choice. You can bring positivity, you can bring joy, you can bring happiness to this patient.
His higher-ups say the talent allows him to connect with patients on a deeper level.
Wow, what a talent.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, really
And a
good.
positive attitude in some place that you might not always be able to pull that through.
And where it's needed, that's for sure. Oh, Carrie, not a bad start this morning, but you are tracking quite a bit of rain headed our way.
Yeah, the rain showers are going to be here starting late this afternoon into tonight and then really through the rest of the weekend. So in the short term right now, it's really pretty nice outside. I highly suggest getting out and enjoying it. We have temperatures in the 60s. We're mainly in the low to mid 60s at this point. You can see 64 over South Bend. We have temperatures in the lower 60s for most areas at this point. So here's a fast forward to 10 o'clock this morning. We're already in the 70s and 84 for the high this afternoon. This is the warmest it's going to really be, and also the driest. But this is so far the warmest day we've had all week. Now the weekend forecast is looking rainy. Now those showers will roll in this afternoon, but we have rain tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday, and I'll show you that on Futurecast coming up next.
It's 6:54. Here's a look at this morning's Fastcast. We continue to follow breaking news out of the Miami area. At least one person is dead. Another 9 are in the hospital after this high-rise condo building collapsed early this morning. Look at the wreckage here. Right now, more than 80 first response teams are digging through this rubble, searching for any possible survivors. And that scene is extensive. Look at that damage there from that condo. We'll have much more on this breaking story on CBS This Morning and over on Fox Michiana starting at 7. Also breaking out of Florida, a manhunt is on for a man who shot a police officer in the head. At last word, that officer in Daytona was rushed into surgery. Police say he was approaching a suspect from an incident when that suspect started to struggle with the officer and shot him. A fired high school teacher at Concord is now facing 18 criminal charges for actions he's accused of in and out of the class. Andrew Cowles is accused of making inappropriate comments and taking inappropriate actions with students in his classroom and in the boys' bathroom. He's also charged with child pornography. The CDC is now putting a warning on the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines about a temporary heart condition in young people. A committee says it did find a possible link between the mRNA vaccines and this heart inflammation. It reports about 400 cases, which were temporary and mild. The agency says the risk of COVID and even worse, long-term heart conditions from COVID make the vaccine much more beneficial.
And Kara, we have a lot of rain coming this way.
Yeah, we do. And you can take a deep breath and relax because it's not going to be here this morning or even early afternoon. This is Futurecast. It starts to roll into Chicago around 4 or 5 o'clock, and we'll see our first chance of rain about 7, 8 o'clock tonight. So these are going to be showers, thunder and lightning potential. But then once that rolls through, that really sets up the pattern that's going to be really rainy. Here's tomorrow morning, Friday morning. There's mid-morning on Friday with rain showers, and there's Friday afternoon and evening. And then I fast forward, there's the start of Saturday. It's going to be a soggy weekend with temperatures hovering right around 80 degrees.
All right, Carrie, thanks very much. CBS This Morning is coming up next.
We're heading over to Fox Michiana with more local news and weather from 7 to 9, including that breaking news.